Some say don't give up and hope that your good is good enough. Head down, keep on working.
So
we might not be the... Yeah, welcome back.
Kanye. Yeah, Kanye is making the news.
A lot of news.
Yeah. Now, what have you heard? Because I'm watching a little, but not a ton.
I heard that he dropped an album.
Mm-hmm.
If
Jesus is King.
Yep, Jesus is King, and it is just straight religious Christian style singing, rapping.
Right.
Which is cool, which I think's awesome. But now he's also going everywhere, and I watched some of his videos, and he's a totally different acting person now. Like, talks different.
Yeah.
Different way of speaking.
Looks like a sweetheart. This is a sweet...
He almost looks like a pastor.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's representing like a pastor from like a month, 2 months ago, representing like a gangster. Like that you would see in a dark alleyway, you know, that you wouldn't want to see. Terrified.
Yeah. And now he's like a welcoming character that you're like, man, I want this guy to meet my children.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of that. And it happened right after Justin Bieber started getting some attention for his Christian outcoming. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I just wanted to throw that out. You didn't hear about Justin Bieber?
I know he's been kind of in and out flirting with that. And because some of these artists lead a strangely tortured life because fame is weird. Fame is weird. But it's not really tortured because they're living in mansions with everything that they wish at their beck and call. But it's strangely lonely. Oh man, I just had to put in a recommendation for who's the woman singer that died in like 68. She had that great voice. Me and Bobby McGee. Anyway, keep going about Justin Bieber. I did see Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I'm not sure who she is.
Janis Joplin. She had a thing on
Netflix.
Sure. And if you want to understand a little bit about the tortured life of the popular, to me, her story was just heartbreaking. And when a famous person says how hard their life is, like Lady Gaga says, you don't know the difficulty it is to be rich and famous and have everything that you want. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know what the difficulty of being in a foxhole 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles from home with people who hate you all. Yeah, the difficulty, it's very hard to say, are you sure that's difficult?
Yeah.
Janis Joplin played out her life as a popular person who was lonely and just longed to be loved. So she would go out into a crowd and sing, and everyone adored her. She was, man, a solid rocker. Then at the end of the night, she'd go back to her hotel, and the rest of the band, all the boys would go out, and women would be flocking to them. And they would get to party, the life of, now I get, a relationship. And men, they were piggish, whatever. They got to have their choice of women, and left Janis alone. And she wanted somebody who truly loved her. And every night she would be left alone and be like, I thought you guys adored me, and here I am living this lonely life. And her heart was laid out. It was just, but that's the idea that like Justin Bieber or Kanye have this life that's popularity and yet loneliness mixed in somehow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's rough roads even to the fame world. You could see them. We could tell. I mean, it is lonely in a way where you can't know if you could trust the person that's in your life. It's like, are you here because of my fame, because of my money, or is it really me? So, I don't know. What do you think Kanye outbursted about this whole Jesus thing suddenly about? I mean, I think it's because of his children. I think he had a wake-up call of, hey, everything I created is now going to reflect on the way my children are being raised up into this world of this isn't the most beautiful thing even for a rich person, because eventually that money drains. You can only have it so much, unless you're like the president who gets paid that every year. It's not a yearly income for Kanye. He doesn't have a guaranteed anything in 20 years. there's probably a good chance Kanye will have nothing in 20 years. He might, but there's a good chance he won't. I mean, look at Elvis.
Yeah.
You ever hear Elvis?
Yeah. Elvis, yes.
You know his story, right?
Yeah.
Most people do.
Yeah, there are a lot of tragic stories of famous people.
Yeah, the up and then
eventually
down.
Mike Tyson was just,
the
top of the world. And there's a short-lived career that's, $1 million a fight, and then in your 20s, nothing.
Right.
It all dried up.
Quick.
And he had no friends, nobody around him he could trust. And he was brutal in the ring. He was brutal, but he seemed to be a gentle soul who really was lost and had nobody he could trust. And he lost everything in his 30s. He's now a poor person.
Look at Michael Jackson. Totally a kid living life, got famous, quick high stream up, and then soon as he got caught hanging out with children, because I truly believe he probably just liked kids.
Yeah.
Went about it way wrong in my eyes. Don't get me wrong here. But then he got torn up and looked upon as if he was a child molester.
Right.
And then suddenly he crashed.
Right.
Nobody wanted to be acknowledged as a Michael Jackson fan.
Right.
To a point. There were some people that just didn't care, but
yeah,
I mean, it's ups and downs, man.
One of the greatest artists, one of the greatest talents.
I enjoy watching Kanye now more than I did then when he was just crude and ignorant to most people.
Right.
Now I'm enjoying watching his trip through Jesus, because I believe Jesus, whether or not he did it for a reason, Kanye, whether or not Kanye jumped on board of the Christian belief for a reason, maybe to get attention, maybe to get, likes, whatever, but I believe it's like somebody that starts going to church because they have no other option or something. I believe Jesus is going to get that grip on him, and he's going to be like, whoa, I stepped into this thinking I could just get attention, and now I'm stuck because this is now what I do want. And this is crazy. And I think it's going to drive him a little bit mad, but yet, I don't know. But yeah, what do you think?
I think that's one of the great stories in life, is somebody who comes from, is changed and redeemed and pulled out of a world, and you see something happen. And that's interesting. And I think you have to watch and see if this is a real change. But he's going to have some, because of fame and money, he's going to have temptations that are beyond what we would face. I have no women throwing themselves at me, strangely.
Not yet.
But, and I have no money that I can say, I can't binge money. I have nothing, Anyway, I can binge Netflix. That's all I got.
Yeah. And we don't want the women throwing at us.
But there's a couple of interesting things. So I watched people analyze, and I watched Kanye in an interview, and he said something that was super interesting to me. He talked about Kobe Bryant, and he said, Kobe Bryant's playing basketball, and his game is so high level, and he'll play, and he might pull a hamstring or something like that, and he has to go get treatment, but his game is the thing. This is a great player. And he gets treatment, goes back. And Kanye said, he just went through some kind of psychological break. He actually went into psychotherapy or some kind of thing where people thought, you're getting a little too weird, Kanye, or whatever. It looks like you're having psychological problems. He was having depression and whatever. And he said, I play a game just like Kobe. I play a mental game that's a very high level. And he said, I had an injury, I had a setback, and I had to go get treatment. It's exactly the same, but people look at mental illness or this, these struggles that people have where they have some kind of, even the Joker movie, it ties into the Joker, that they're playing some high-level game, and the mind is some area of work. It's your biggest area of how you live life is how you see things. And you get a setback in your mind or in the way you experience the world, and even loneliness and fame, boy, that could pull a muscle in your brain that I'm the most well-known person and nobody actually knows me. You could easily trip on that. Yeah. And he said, you don't understand that I had a setback, but I went into a healer, just like Kobe has to go to a doctor. I had to go to a doctor. It tripped me up. So, Kanye, a life lived in public is, it's an interesting spectacle. And you got to try and show grace in that as well and hope for the best. We hope, that Kanye is a person that's found something he can hang on to. And boy, if there's nothing to hang on to like Jesus, that could turn his life around, then you admire him in some way. He was a life redeemed. And I pray and wish the best for Kanye. If you want, you can fly me out to Vegas sometime and we chat.
Yeah. But anyway, you probably got to go, don't you?
I do have to go pretty soon here.
Well, subscribe.
Little talk of Kanye.
Tom got to go. A little speech about Kanye. Ring that bell notification deal, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, put some comments in the comment section.
What if I would want to tell you that